Hey there, everyone. The new Sacred Memories update is out, and that means that it's time for a unit review. Today we have 5 new units to go over. 2 of them, Lyon and Marisa, are reward units. The other 3, La Rochelle, Brave Eirika, and Myrrh, can be found on the banner. Let's start with the free units this time. Up first we have Lyon. Lyon is a straightforward unit. His personal weapon is a Raven Tome with extra might, and his stat line looks a lot like Sophia's. While Lyon isn't going to carve out a niche for himself quite like Arvis did, he's still a solid low investment unit that you can add to your roster. You don't need to get fancy when building him either, just pass along Triangle Adept or Distant Defense and then either Sword or Bowbreaker. While Sophia has the statistical edge over Lyon thanks to merges, IVs, and higher availability, Lyon is cheaper in terms of upfront investment, at least by a little bit. Next we have Marisa. Like Lyon, Marisa is a respectable if somewhat underwhelming unit. Her kit includes both a Woe and Infantry Pulse, so at least she has some SI potential. As a unit in her own right, it's easy to compare Marisa to Joshua, and if we do, Joshua comes out ahead. While both of them have nearly identical BST, great speed, and solid attack, Joshua has higher res and an amazing personal weapon. Marisa's strength instead lies in her higher HP, meaning more physical bulk. I don't think that advantage is enough to make a huge difference in her favor, but it is there. Marisa fits into the fast Swordmaster archetype. At low investment, she's average to decent, carried by her BST alone. With investment, she'll still lag behind Eira and Mia, but so will most other sword units anyway. You could do much better than Marisa if you wanted a Swordmaster, but you could also do way worse. Third, we have La Rochelle, the first of 2 Mage Knights in this update. La Rochelle is interesting, but kind of weak. Her stat line makes her look like a blue Leo with more emphasis on speed. La Rochelle will share many of Leo's problems. She'll be quite weak outside of a dedicated cavalry team, for example, and her stats are spread awfully thin. Why does that matter? Well, if a low BST unit like La Rochelle has their stats spread thin, it can make them very nature dependent. It magnifies the impact of boons and banes. That's good because it means she can benefit from almost any boon. With a plus attack or plus speed boon, she's a solid offensive mage knight, roughly on par with Ursula or Olwen. With a plus defense or plus res boon, she has outs as some kind of enemy phase unit. Now, I don't know quite what that build would look like, but with enough buffs she could get there. On the flip side though, most banes will hurt La Rochelle badly. If she loses attack or speed, she'll fall behind her competitors. If she loses resistance or HP, her enemy phase potential drops off. The super bane in defense doesn't help either. Her weapon, the Evaldi, is great on paper. The flat 3 defense is too little too late, but 3 attack and speed when fighting enemies that are at full health is powerful. Res tactic is decent, but comes with the team building restriction, and La Rochelle really wants to be on a dedicated cavalry team. At the end of the day, La Rochelle would have been downright incredible as a healer, but as a blue mage, she's fighting an uphill battle. If we want to look for a silver lining, she's a very likely candidate for demotion after the banner ends, but we'll have to wait and see. Next, we have Eirika, and I think I'll stick to calling her Brave Eirika for now. Brave Eirika is also a mage knight. Compared to La Rochelle or Leo, Eirika's stats are far more aggressive. With an impressive 31-35 neutral offensive stat line, Brave Eirika is going to be a workhorse, pun intended, on any cavalry team with room for a red mage. She is frail, but that won't matter as long as she initiates first and has cavalry buffs. The Gleipnir, her tome, is Evaldi's counterpart. It grants Eirika 3 res when equipped, as well as the extra 3 attack and speed when fighting targets that have full HP. Swift Sparrow and Desperation, also on her base skills, fit the player phase offensive cavalry mold. Red Tome EXP is new, but it is a wasted slot. There's not much else to say. 31-35 on a ranged horse makes Eirika de facto good. Maybe even good enough to run on non-cavalry teams too. Last but not least, we have Myrrh. Myrrh is a flying dragon, and that type combination has some quirks that we should go over. First, she is vulnerable to both dragon-slaying weapons and archers. Second, because she is a flyer, Myrrh cannot inherit Steady Breath, Wrath, or other skills that are locked away from flyers or dragons. Third, she benefits from both dragon buffs and flyer buffs. Buff stacking still works the same way though. 2 hones or 2 fortifies won't stack. In terms of BST, Myrrh clocks in at a hefty 167. That brings her up to par with launch day armor units like Hector or Effie. When compared to Faye at neutral, Myrrh has 4 less HP, the same attack, 3 less speed, 11 more defense, and 1 more res. That 11 defense is a big deal, and it brings Myrrh's unmerged, neutral defensive stat line up to a ridiculous 36-31. Her personal weapon, the Great Flame, grants 3 attack in addition to 16 base might. It also comes pre-refined with the adaptive damage effect and a built-in pseudo-wary fighter that checks against enemy defense. Her free A skill is Fury, which is nice if you don't want to make high-cost sacrifices for stronger skills. In the C slot, she brings us Honed Dragons. I don't think I need to tell you why that's powerful. Now, the fun part. How on earth should you build a flying dragon? Like I said earlier, you can't equip Steady Breath, so the tried and true Steady Breath setups aren't an option. Despite that though, her low speed, immense bulk, and personal weapon are strong signals to enemy phase with her. How you choose to do that is open-ended, and that is what I love about Myrrh's design. As a flying dragon without a distant counter weapon, you're forced to make meaningful compromises. Here's a few example builds. If you want to keep her personal weapon, you'll want to give her DC. If you give her distant counter, you can't give her distant defense or close defense without using your seal. If you want to give her Iote Shield, you have to give up the seal slot or the A skill, both of which are valuable. No matter what you do, Myrrh will be great, but you'll always have to give up something to make her that way. None of these builds are too outlandish, but I think you can see just how significant the choices are. If you want to see some more examples of Myrrh's flexibility, check out Rochelle's analysis. He runs through a lot of different sets for her, and there's a lot more stuff out there too. Overall, these units are reasonable, and that's okay. I'd rather get some average units with a few standouts over crazy power creep banners any day of the week. Myrrh is the prize on the banner, but Eirika is no slouch. Our free units are red, again, which is annoying, but both of them will serve you well if you just need more bodies for secondary teams or for arena assault. In terms of summoning priority, Myrrh is the one to shoot for. Eirika comes in at a close second, and La Rochelle is a distant third. Like the Radiant Dawn update, these units will be added to the permanent pool, so don't feel too worried about missing out if you decide to pass on them this time. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like or subscribing. You can find me on Twitter at DireThunderYT. Feel free to send me cool stuff or just stop by and say hello. As always, I hope to see you next time. Take care.